Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome along to yet another walk through the woods. Probably the only place I'm allowed to be nowadays because I don't fit in with polite society. Due to all the labels that are thrust upon me, anti-vaxxer, COVID denier, and probably after today's little talk, probably misogynist as well. But you know, I take all these names and these titles and these monikers that people throw at me and cast on me with and I wear them like a badge of honor, because I view them as, it's an attack on me because I dare to speak what maybe other people are thinking, but you don't want to say. So welcome along to a walk in the woods, and it is a beautiful place I'm walking today. It's a lovely pine forest near my home. I thought just bring you here for something different. Beautiful surroundings, and there is a touch of rain in the air, hence the jacket. So if it's your first time here, this is what it's all about. I take a walk in beautiful locations, speak my mind, my thoughts and opinions on different subjects that are in the public consciousness at the time, and asking questions. And today's questions are, it's going to incite a conversation. Well, I hope it will. I have from all my subscribers, and for those subscribers that are joining me again, thank you so much for being here. It's an honor and a privilege to have you all here. But what I've noticed is that a lot of the subscribers to my channel are women, and with what I've been seeing lately, I wanted to bring this conversation up because I think it's essential that we ask these kind of questions. With everything that's going on, I have 3 daughters, I have 3 granddaughters. And with what I see happening in our society and the way that our society is currently being structured and rejigged, it does make me ask these kind of questions. And I wanted to put this question out there to you all and discuss this subject. It is a sensitive subject, and I'm sure there's going to be some negative feedback on it, and that's fine. Because in conversations we don't all have to agree with each other, and it is through having conversations and asking questions and seeking opinions of other people that we come to understand things better, and we can maybe adjust our mindset. So this conversation today is what's happening in our society, especially to women and with women, in regards to women especially. Are women being empowered by the things that are happening, or are they debasing themselves? Now, what am I referring to? Okay. So I'm on Twitter, I'm on these different social network platforms, and I see, I'm an older person, not yet old, but I'm pushing 50, and I see, I'm on Twitter, and I get these girls that follow me on Twitter, and generally when people follow me, I don't care who they are, I follow back. Generally, usually I check out their Twitter profile to make sure they're not some lunatic. But I get these girls that follow me on Twitter, and a lot of times they're young girls, in their early 20s, and I've noticed this thing called OnlyFans. I mean, maybe I'm a bit behind the times, but I've noticed this thing that people are talking about called OnlyFans, and it just seems like it's like a subscription service. For those of you who don't know, it's a subscription service for women and girls to offer pictures of themselves, or perhaps videos of themselves involved in sex acts, let's put it that way. Now, I don't want you to think I'm some Puritan. I'm a pervert just like most men are. And I like naked women as much as the next person, probably more so. But I don't know. I've sort of my thinking is regarding these kind of subjects. Look, whatever you want to do, who am I to judge who you are, what you want to do with your body? It's not my decision to make. It really isn't. And in these times that we're in, especially in, a lot of people have lost their jobs and lost their income, and they're questioning the way our society is structured, in that, people go to work for 40, 50, 60 hours a week and barely get by. And then you can set up this thing, there's OnlyFans, or there's other platforms as well, I understand. where you can have some people subscribing to you for doing these things, taking your clothes off, or doing these sexual things, and not have to go to work. I mean, you can work from your own bed. You don't even have to get out of bed in the morning. I mean, people are going to accuse me of jealousy. I mean, is it jealousy because I can't do it? Possibly. There's no one's going to pay me to take my clothes off. Maybe put them back on again. But it just seems like, with the way that our culture is going, there's so many mixed messages that we're getting. That this is the reason I wanted to bring it up. It is a bizarro world where we're having this cancel culture coming out and telling us how we should think, what we should do. Cancelling Pepe Le Pew, for instance, and because he was overtly sexual. And at the same time, you've got Cardi B rolling around on stage with another woman. It just seems like we're just getting these massive mixed messages, and I'm asking myself, is it really empowering women, or is it debasing them? And I want to know your thoughts. So please, feel free to comment and have a discussion in the comment section. Keep it civil. We want to make sure that it is civil, and we need to be able to communicate with each other without resorting to tearing each other apart, which is one of the reasons I'm not on Facebook much anymore. It's just because it does get too personal, and especially written word. When you're writing, people are looking at what you're writing through their lens of how they assume you mean what you're saying, but it doesn't always come across that way. So be respectful of each other in the comment section, but please feel free to comment, and I want to hear your thoughts and opinions, and I do respond to the comments. So please feel free to feed back to me. But as a father of young girls, I've got an older daughter who's got children of her own now. I keep on asking myself these questions, and what's the message that we're giving? What's the message that these young girls are getting, and what's the wider message of that? How does that affect all women? On Twitter, like I said, on Twitter, I'm on there, and there's obviously quite a lot of these accounts on there of these young women that have these OnlyFans or just fans or whatever it's called, OnlyFans I think it's called. But there's more than that. It's a much bigger industry, and what I've found is that you have some women are responding to comments that men are making on their Twitter accounts, and obviously they don't have the same, I don't want to use the word moral compass, but you get the idea of what I'm trying to say there, as these girls who are happy to do this, and they're getting responses from men who are responding the way that they would to these girls with OnlyFans accounts to these women that don't have those accounts and don't feel the same way. Does that make sense? And they're getting upset by it. Now, as men, I mean, we're simple creatures. I'll speak for myself. I'm generalizing, of course, as I generally do. But men are simple creatures, and as I say, I'll speak for myself in this. It's hard to distinguish, and it's hard to try and say, well, it's differentiating between women who feel that way and who don't feel that way, and it's kind of hard to separate that out, and you don't know who's who has a different moral compass. I don't want to use the word moral compass, but you get the idea of what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say that women who use OnlyFans or who take up that subscription service and who make money out of it as less moral, but you get the idea of what I'm trying to say. The odd thing about this is, I've done a video about this in the past, about here in the UK there was a newspaper called The Sun, I think, and they had something called Page 3 girls, right? And it was generally the sort of girls about the same age as what these girls are that have these pages, in their early 20s, where they would do a photo on page 3 of this newspaper of themselves, generally topless, And as I say, I'm I'm a big fan of naked women. You know, I love women. You know, women are beautiful. You know, all shapes and sizes. Love them all. But you know, I don't go seeking out. I'm not a big porn watcher. You know, I don't. It's not my thing. You know what I mean? It's like watching snowboard videos. I love snowboarding. Love snowboarding. You get the analogy. Love snowboarding, but watching a video, it's like watching somebody else paid to get, you know, getting paid to have fun. Why would I watch somebody else snowboarding when I can go and snowboard myself? You know, it's, you know, I'm not into it, but I appreciate how beautiful women are. They're completely different from men. You know, men have got all sorts of different bits that, you know, I don't think they look good naked, but that's me. You know, I can appreciate a good-looking man as well. But, you know what I'm trying to say is women have their own allure and their own charm and their own beauty because of the way they look and the way they are. So, but, you know, it just seems odd that you have this massive outrage, a few years ago it was, where there was this outrage of people that were speaking out against page 3, and they eventually got it banned because they said, oh, there's page 3, it's degrading to women. You know, and the opposite side was saying, you know, it empowers women because these women are getting paid. They're generating an income and they're happy to do it. You know, so that was banned a few years ago. And then here we find ourselves in a situation where we have these young girls who are they getting empowered, or are they debasing themselves because, well, for money or for fame or for whatever? And the other thing that strikes me about this whole situation is, you know, whatever people get up to in their bedrooms, you know, I don't care whether they're gay, straight. I mean, I don't care. I mean, I'm not even going to go into my past. I mean, when I was young, when I was like 18 or 19, I was offered a porn film, believe it or not, with this head. But you know, I'm not going to judge people for how they respond and what they do in their bedroom, their privacy, their own sex lives. But it just seems odd to me that people will go out there and you know, readily show their face. They have these pages, and they put themselves out there. You know, they show their face. They don't make any. They don't try and hide who they are. You know, how do you go out into the world when you have your face out there doing things that are, you know, would be considered questionable by a lot of people? Like some of the things I've seen, you know, I don't actively seek it out. You need to understand that. But some of the things I've seen, it's like, wow, you know, it's when I was a kid, it was like, you know, if you found a Playboy magazine, which was very tame back then, to see some of the stuff that I'm seeing now is like, wow, it's just polar opposites. And it just seems odd to me that people are happily, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. And there isn't really, but it just, you know, how do you hold down a job? And perhaps you don't need to if you have an OnlyFans page, but how do you hold down a job if you have that image, those images, these videos of yourself doing these things? You know, I've been questioned and criticized for doing these videos, for instance, for questioning the narrative of the way we're living right now. And, you know, I was called by a friend of mine who said, oh, you know, I'm really worried about you. You know, you're putting these videos out, and, you know, what's it going to do to your career? And I'm just talking about subjects. You know, I can't imagine, you know, someone, you know, maybe in their early 20s who are doing this kind of thing because, well, it's right for them right now. You know, how is, you know, if somebody's going to have a long-term relationship with someone, how are they going to respond if they find out that they were involved in this when they were younger? I mean, look, who am I to judge at the end of the day? But it just seems like they're setting themselves up for failure. Now, you know, as I said, it's a tough subject to talk about because, you know, who am I to judge? You know, but is it Is it a snap decision to go into this sort of arena, or is there a lot of pressure on them from, obviously financial pressures? Maybe they don't have friends and family to guide them. I don't know. I've never spoken to anyone. I've never had feedback from anyone who's gone and done it. I don't know, and I don't know when to engage, because obviously I don't want to pay a subscription. But I'm intrigued by it. I really am, and I'm genuinely intrigued that more people aren't speaking about this. It does seem odd to me that it's such a huge rise in. There's so many accounts, of this happening, not just on these sites like OnlyFans, but on Twitter as well. It's blatant. It's the things I've seen on Twitter. But it's porn. It's straight up porn. There's no other word for it. It's straight up porn on a public platform like Twitter. There's no warnings. There's no age restrictions. Anybody can be on Twitter. And here we find ourselves where it is straight up. Full, everything is on view, and I'm talking about everything. Multiple people in the same, threesomes, foursomes. It's odd. And it does come into stark contrast as well when you have Russia has just warned Twitter. They've given them 30 days to remove this kind of content from their platform, and not just this kind of content, but child pornography as well. That's in the open. It's on the platform. It does seem odd to me that we want to empower young girls, we want to empower women. There are strong female role models out there that are doing wonderful things in the world, and giving an example to girls and women of things that women can achieve in our ever changing society. Strong, powerful women across the board, whether they're black, whether they're Hispanic, whether they're Asian. There's many women that are in the public limelight that are trying to lift women up and empower them through their being role models to women in general. But are these women doing the same? Or are they responding to a social pressure? Are they responding to social influence, or to a trend that they see happening? Perhaps. I mean, more and more people now are seeking out porn, and this kind of imagery in these times where people are locked up, and they're seeking out some kind of joy. It's if the only joy that you have is releasing that pressure, and hey, we all should release that pressure, because no one wants to go out with a loaded weapon. Someone might get hurt. But if that's the only joy that you have in your day is to constantly relieve that pressure 10 times a day, then maybe seek out some other kind of entertainment. In the industry that I'm in, I'm a chef. I have been my job, not who I am. My job in the industry I'm in, it's full of crazy people and perverts. Can't deny it. It is. Even in my industry, I've seen I've seen things, and it's been crazy all the years that I've been here, 30 odd plus years. But it's, and the people that I've met, it's gone so far beyond anything I saw growing up or being involved in the industry all these years. And some of the imagery that people have on their telephones, crazy stuff, that involves animals and all sorts. It's bizarre. The way the world is really taken a turn. I'm inquisitive to see what you think, because what kind of world and what kind of impression are we giving our children when this is available? Does it empower people? Does it really? I mean, this over sexualization, is it really giving any kind of realism in our sex lives as well? You know, young people today, this porn is such a normal sort of way of understanding and learning about sex, if you will. Learning about sex from porn is, I can't imagine, growing up as a teenager or early 20s, person today, and thinking sex is like porn is normal sex. I mean, I don't know about your sex life, but it's the stuff that you see in the movies. It's not real. It's not real. You have 20 takes and you've got fluffers and you've got all this. It's not real. But if these youngsters are learning this, it is extreme, some of the stuff that's out there, and on Twitter, and if that's what they're viewing as the normality, how that's how normal people have sex, is that benefiting us? We all want our society to be open and free and being able to talk about different subjects. But, is that really empowering us? And especially, is it empowering our youth? And is it empowering these young girls? Or is it debasing them? Or are they debasing themselves for a short-term financial gain, but for a longer-term, possibly disappointment? I don't know. I really don't. And these questions, when I ask, I work with, youngsters, a lot of youngsters nowadays, in their 20s and before their 20s, because I'm an old man in comparison to them. Some people call me a boomer. I mean, I don't know what a boomer is, obviously, but it does seem odd to me. And I ask these kind of questions, and not to be intrusive and not to be demeaning, but I ask these kind of questions because I want to get a deeper understanding of the thought process that goes into this kind of thing, because it just does seem really, really odd to me that this is being normalized. But at the same time, our society is normalizing this overtly sexualization, especially of our youngsters. But at the same time, we're banning Dr. Seuss, and calling it racist. Banning Pepe Le Pew, a cartoon that's been around since I was a kid, because this skunk is trying to rape a cat. I mean, it's just I'm amazed. I'm amazed, and I often ponder, what's the meaning of it all? Is it purely just to keep us all so confused that we don't know what to do, or is there a bigger agenda? Being the conspiracy theorist that I am, and I wear that I wear that badge proudly. Is it a bigger agenda? Who knows? I get accused a lot of, being a misogynist, and there's lots of different titles and all of them. I get accused of these things. But we've known for a long time that advertising uses sex to sell. Of course, it does sell. Like I said, men want to see naked women. Women want to see naked men for some reason, or semi-naked men anyway, probably. But is that damaging our society? Is it benefiting us? I don't know. And if there is an agenda, who's responsible, and what could possibly be the meaning and the outcome for this? Where is our society going? I mean, we're told that there's 50 odd genders at the moment. I mean, how does that play into this whole OnlyFans sexual, thing that's going on? I don't know. I haven't looked for it. I don't think I want to. There's all sorts of weird shit going on. Furries, people dressing up in animal costumes, for want of a better word. I mean, I'm sure somebody out there could explain it better than I can. having sex while other people watch, you know, and I'm not going to put that down either. You know, that's if that's what people want to do, then cool. You know, if people want to have sex in front of other people, who am I to judge? You know, it's I'll probably be accused, for people who know me, you know, is that when I was younger, I'm not going to say that much younger, you know, I'd go to parties and run around naked and do all sorts of stupid shit. I mean, you know, there's some things that I'm not overly proud of, but you know, I haven't pushed the boundary that much, I wouldn't think. Maybe some people would think, but you know, but it's these questions that I ask myself, and I'm asking you as well, the people who are taking the time to view my channel, because I want to get a broader understanding of this, if I can, and get other people's viewpoints, to take the temperature of the community, if you will, because I really don't know. I don't know what it means for us, and I don't know what it means for our youngsters, and especially these young women that are going out into the world, and you know, in these testing times, and these times where these people are obviously smart, talented, beautiful people that are doing this, because they're taking advantage of opportunities that are there. And in our world right now, you know, where you take advantage of opportunities where they are, because you don't know where you're going to be tomorrow, right? So in saying all that, you know, I don't want to discourage anyone. I'm trying to start a debate because I want to have a deeper understanding. And this it's not a discouragement of people who want to take part in these kind of things, because, you know, who am I to judge? And I want to be inclusive in what we do going forward, because there's too much exclusivity going on as well, where we're excluding people from our society because they have a different viewpoint. I don't want to do that. I want to be inclusive, and I want to create a community of people. You know, I'm not a grand community organizer. I'm just a guy that walks around in the forest and speaks his mind and has an opinion. But I want to create a community of people that can come together and have discussions and maybe talk about different viewpoints. Because then we can get a deeper understanding of each other, and how, and with that understanding, find places that we can cross over and have agreements, and it's in that middle ground where we understand each other and we can communicate. That's where we should build ourselves from, rather than this divisiveness and this constant message of, you know, if you don't agree with me, then you're a bad person. I don't want to create that. I want to create something completely different. I want you to join me on that. So yeah, that's my thoughts. What do you think? What do you think? Do you think I have a viewpoint? Do you think I have some validity in my viewpoint, or do you think differently? I'm keen to hear. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm really appreciative. I was going to do a completely different video today, but there's so much going on at the moment in these kind of in the world. You know, there's so many things that are taking my attention, and as I see them, I want to make sure I'm putting myself out there and putting my voice out there as well, to comment and have an opinion, to show my opinion, and we move forward. I will be doing this video called The John Phenomenon in the coming days. That's really going to sort of blow your socks off. It's bizarro, but that's what I do. So thank you so much for joining me today. Really appreciate you being here. If you like what I do, please feel free to share. I'm ever grateful that people do, and they like and comment what I do. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, please feel free to comment on that as well, because that's what this platform is all about. So, in saying all that, thank you very much for being here. Go out into the world, spread some joy, be good, do good, look after each other, and I shall look forward to seeing you real soon. Bye.